Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got game 2 of 4 coming up today. This is actually day 18 of StarLadder. Yes. I think I said 17 during the original opener, but this is day 18. We're in the thick of it here, gods.
We're like halfway through, maybe.
I know. It's time flies. I can't believe it's March 23rd already. It's flown by.
March 20. Day of throws, Dota 2 Day of Throws is now complete. We
survived yesterday.
We saw a good share of throws yesterday as well. Between KYXY throwing away his Manta Cell on Spectre to some clowny Jakiro plays, we've had a good share of throws.
That was very brave. But game 2 today, we've got Relaxed versus VirtusPro, which should be a pretty good one. Let's actually take a look at the grid here. See how these teams are doing. VirtusPro, they are sitting 3-3. They've played 6 games, and Relax, you're doing fine. They're actually looking pretty solid. Yeah. They're doing fine. They have played a lot of games, which kind of inflates their level in the ranks. They are position 3 right now, but they are sitting 7-4. So
they also, I don't think, have played many of the big names from memory.
Yes, if I recall, they still have
played a lot of their losses. I remember them losing to Fnatic and stuff, so...
Yeah, so they have played some of their easier matches as well, and they're kind of right on that. Losses, you're still kind of in the running for that top 4, and we'll have to see exactly how it settles down as we get further along in the bracket. But it should be an interesting game, and always excited to see Virtus.
3 losses. Sure, they're 3-3, and it sounds like, hey, you're only going 50-50. Like, that's not looking too good to make it to the land finals. But 3 losses means if they go on a good streak, suddenly they're sitting like they're in the top 4, top 5, and have a really good shot at actually breaking through to the land finals.
So let's take a look at our draft here. We'll have Relax on the Dire side, and VirtusPro will be on our Radiant here. NS is drafting for VP. And it is Tame My Wild drafting for Relax today, though. It's also important to note Relax do have a stand-in in the stead of Wind X. They will have Triv for them.
Yeah, to do with him, but yeah, Tame My Wild drafting, not Dread. He drafts every now and then, and Relax is one of those teams to me. They're kind of like a more fun. They play Dota seriously, but they also play to have fun. Like, they'll have someone different drafting a lot of the time. They'll pick some kind of more funnish picks. Your Dread Axes, which like to go and feed, but Dread's one of those guys who like just seems to really enjoy and love playing Dota at a competitive level, but he's not. He doesn't really mind that he's not like trying to be the best player, the best team in the world with a big sponsor and all that. He just wants to enjoy it and enjoy life.
Yeah.
I don't know. He seems like a cool guy.
10 seconds remaining.
He certainly does. He's one of those streamers that I've heard people say that you can't understand why he is so amazing unless you really understand the nuances of Russian. Apparently, a lot of his humor is based around, like, he's really articulate, and Russian is a pretty complex language, so there's a lot of really funny, like, puns and kind of double meaning. That's part of the reason why his stream is so ridiculously popular, because he's got that kind of unmatched wit compared to a lot of the other popular streamers. So, as Americans or English speakers, we're missing out a little bit, gods.
listen to Vlad. Well, you can listen to Vlad, but you don't get to understand.
Too easy for RTZ is about the extent of my understanding.
I wonder if Vlad's getting any percent of those new RTZ shirts that EG have unleashed. I saw them. I was like, tempted to message Vlad, be like, so what cut are you getting, man? Like, you spawned this thing. Like, and EG go off and monetize it. Like, sure, they can monetize RTZ, but that's like. That was Vlad's line, man.
Yeah, that was...
And then there's EG like, sweet, man, we got a t-shirt. People will love this. The shirt looks sweet. Like, I was really tempted to go... I was like, well, I want to know some of that goes to Vlad, man.
So let's talk about this draft a little bit. VirtusPro did go ahead and grab Dazzle, Naga with their first 2 picks. And Relax, they went with the Batrider Visage, so pretty standard across the board. Dazzle, Naga do have a bit of synergy. One of the things in particular is that you can use Weave while the opposition is in Naga's sleep, and it will still tick Weave charges. So that is one little minor synergy between those two. And of course the minus armor and all the physical from Dazzle, so there is some lane potence there as well, and even Shadow Fiend with the Presence of the Dark Lord.
The Nagasar images with the Dazzle heal bomb.
Yeah, that too.
It's not something. It sounds great. It's like one of those things. Like, oh man, you get an illusion here, you get Dazzle, but it's pretty.
Yeah,
you're often just farming around Nagasar. It's more likely to see like a Shadow Demon Dazzle getting for the heal bombs, but it's still something which, in theory, comes into play later in the game.
Yeah, those two are really scary in like 2-1-2 kind of lineup, but Dazzle Naga is a really. Then on the physical from Dazzle, the heal bomb like you were talking about, then even the shallow grave in case Naga goes in too deep. It's just it's a potent duo, but here in our current meta. Looking at the bans coming out, also looking fairly straightforward. RX 4th banning out Disruptor, and we've seen Disruptor over the past couple of weeks. I think he's still a little bit of an underrated hero. Just a great support. One of the things about Disruptor is that he never really falls off. You know, Glimpse and Static Storm never really become bad abilities, nor Kinetic Field for that matter.
No, I agree. I think he's underrated for sure. And well, I think the trendy picks are kind of like your Shadow Shaman, your Ancient Apparition, your Dazzle as far as supports go, but resurgence of the Disruptor, at least, especially going towards like TI and stuff. It's one of those big clutch playmaker heroes that will get you off to a good start with a big glimpse kill, and will just catch opponents by surprise, put them out of their comfort zone, find you some nice little kills here.
Difference in mentality. Now, Shadow Fiend, we mentioned 3rd pick for VirtusPro. RX thought about it a while, and they did settle on a Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit 4th.
Feel it.
Storm Spirit.
Have some Storm Skillet for breakfast. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. Let's have some Storm Skillet.
Nothing like that. A high-quality Storm Skillet down from the local grocery. The Storm Spirit will be their main hero, and VirtusPro just go ahead and grab Nyx Assassin straight away.
Yep. VP have been running a lot of Storm for G, so they actually go for the SF over it because they wanted to stack even more minus armor. Because normally I feel like they'd go for a Storm here, but
yeah,
they decided for something a bit different.
Reserve time.
Pretty solid lineup. They have a lot of initiation, but some very squishy heroes. And even though Bat and Storm are two great heroes in terms of they can have that keen initiation power, if they get initiated upon, things can be a little bit difficult, and we'll see against the Shadow Fiend, which isn't a terrible matchup, but I think Storm will need to pick up a little bit of momentum here. A decently timed Orchid, I think, will be key. Yeah. Definitely not an ideal BKB first game for the Storm Spirit.
It's kind of nice. Like, Spectre can show up anywhere on the map for some early kills and stuff, with the Batrider Storm creating space. You've got long range initiation, then combine that with the Spectre. Pretty handy.
Yeah. Well, VirtusPro, they just grabbed Nyx. So, oh boy, Nyx Assassin, he's just such a good all-around pick right now, especially against a Batrider, a hero you can't really go wrong with. You get just a free stun with that Spiked Carapace, walk into the Firefly, and yeah, there you go. Easy peasy, there's your initiation on a Batrider.
Definitely a potent pick. It kind of leans towards, well, I guess Nagasar, you don't know if it's a carry or a support just yet, but relaxing to think it's going to be a carry farming role. They ban out the Chen here, but Nyx, most likely your offlaner. You looks at the Naga Dazzle in the safe lane with one more. Probably support to go with the Dazzle. support and get a... They can get a really greedy type carry here to contest the Spectre in the late game. I mean, Naga kind of is a greedy carry when you go to Radiance build, but... I mean, they can go greedy with a farming support Naga combined with a carry of some kind. They go Wraith King.
And actually, it's still hard to tell whether that's going to be a support Wraith King or a support Naga.
4-position Wraith King is...
It's a thing.
Not bad.
It's real, yeah.
That's a Dread hero. Dread loves his axe. Wraith King, he wants these, like, manly, balls-to-the-wall kind of heroes.
Pick here with the 5th pick Wraith King.
Yeah, deny pick for sure. Sorry, for some reason I was thinking I was Relax over on the Radiant side.
Yeah.
No. Okay, you're right.
Bingo. And again, this is really hard to read. He can play the position 1 and be that hard farming Wraith King.
Reserve time.
If you had to call it one way or another, who do you think is going to be the farmer, the Naga or the Wraith King?
I was just going to make an educated decision. I was looking at you, and then I saw, Illidan just picked up this.
Yeah, Illidan's going to be the...
I was going to make an actual guess. I think I was going to lean towards Naga being the carry.
But... Yeah, that's where I was going to lean as well, actually. I thought it would be a support Wraith King. So it will be a support Naga, and, well, I'm actually excited to see Wraith King. I know he's been picked up a time or two, but I actually haven't seen him all that much, so... I think he's actually all around pretty good, a little bit underrated in terms of he gets this kind of a rap amongst the community as being this kind of dumpster tier hero, and he's not that bad. It's nice that Wraithfire Blast has a stun and then it actually has a slow afterwards, which I think is something a lot of people don't realize. Vampiric Aura works on ranged heroes as well, so it's a particularly useful ability compared to like the Vlad's offering where it's often compared to. His crit, not that great in the early level. It's not a value point crit. This is one of those you really need to put points in it before it's too useful. Yeah, that first value point, 15% chance to do 125% damage is pretty garbage.
No, I think the build we see mostly is you max stun and crit. Like, you don't get any stat points just because you need to get that crit leveled up before it even does a whole lot.
Right.
The big thing to me of this hero, which has been buffed considerably over the last few patches, is his ultimate. The reincarnation slow, 75% slow. That's essentially a movement speed, and any hero on 400 or less movement speed will reach that 100 movement speed threshold, which basically means they're fully slowed, as slow as you can get. That's his big spell. It used to only be, I think, like a 50% slow, which is, I mean, it sounds like it's a small buff, but going like a 50% slow of someone who's on 400 movement speed puts them on 200 movement speed, which is still like you can get out of there, but down to 100 movement speed, you're crawling, you're not moving. It's like almost like a disable.
Like, it's like being stuck in ice wall, kind of, where you're moving and your hero is just through the ice, and it's not too much fun. So Wraith King, he makes you kind of think about, do we want to ignore Wraith King and kill everyone else so that we don't get slowed, or do we want to focus Wraith King, proc his ultimate right away, and just deal with the slow and take it right there? So that's one of the things about position 1 Wraith King versus a lot of other position 1 heroes. You need to make that call. Do you focus him or do you not? And of course, he's also susceptible to mana burns. If he doesn't have enough mana to use his ultimate, then it doesn't get procced, but Relax don't have a hell of a lot of mana burn here. Maybe this will be a good defusal game for the Spectre.
Defusal Spectre.
No?
I think more likely we look to... Well, Necrobooks is probably a better answer, but they don't have any Necrobook builders.
Yeah.
Defusal Blade doesn't actually... Like, you have to right-click so much to burn down the Wraith King's mana. How much actually does it diffuse at level 1? 20 per right-click, and 36 when upgraded, so... it's just a lot to invest. Like, I think that it's better for Spectre just to tank up a bit, but Diffusal doesn't matter.
I guess Diffusal becomes more useful once he gets a Manta. Faster, but until you have both of them, like, just the Diffusal Blade doesn't really do too much for you.
Diffusal's
so maybe it's like a luxury, like, 5th pick item, 5th pick up or something, 5th inventory, maybe a 6th slot if the game goes that long. So, I mean, how hard of a carry is Wraith King? Like, does he fit into that traditional definition of a hard carry? Like, can he tango with your anti-mage, with your Faceless Void, or is he a little bit more kind of a semi-carry?
He's more of a kind of StarLadder in a way, just because he's a tanky melee here on the front lines. He doesn't flash farm at all, like an anti-mage or a Faceless Void can. Or Void, you kind of need like a Battle Fury or a Maelstrom or Mask of Madness, but those are all kind of items you get. So, he doesn't flash farm, he gets kited around, unlike your those kind of carry heroes, which is kind of a problem for them. And He's more about being on the front lines, tanking up a lot of damage. You want the opponents to initiate you because of your reincarnation, not just the slope, but it means they chew through a lot of their key spells just to get rid of your first life. You've got an Aegis in every fight, so that's where he's good against Doom and stuff, because if you're dooming a Wraith King and he's got reincarnation up, that's a wasted Doom. So he's more like just a, like, if to use like a WoW term, he's just the tank of the team. But you play him in a farming role just because he needs items to be effective at the same time.
He's your prot warrior up in the front lines, using that shield block. Back to life. So yeah, I do really like the utility on Wraithfire Blast as well. The fact that it stuns and then moves into a slow, it's another sort of correlation between him and StarLadder. Stun and then slow gives him a little bit more utility than just a straight up slow disable. So he is, he's got a pretty good lane presence. Expect some damage to come out if it is a tri-lane with Dazzle and Naga, which I would assume it will be. That's a pretty aggressive tri-lane right there. They've got some defensive power with the heal from Dazzle, and they've got some pretty potent damage output as well. But let's introduce these rosters. Here on the Radiant side, we will have Team VirtusPro, and it will be Illidan, the position 1 Wraith King down in the bottom lane. It will be NS playing on the support Dazzle, heading down bottom as well. God on the solo mid Shadow Fiend. JOTM on the support Naga Siren, stationed about the top rune to get things started. And Arzart will be on the off lane Nyx Assassin.
Team, relax. You're doing fine. Yoki playing the Spectre in the firing role. We're going to see the stand-in Triv playing the Visage. We'll have Dread on the support Silencer. Mid lane's going to be Tame My Wild playing the Stormthrower. Then finally off lane, it's going to be Sashglow playing the Batrider. I'm glad he stopped playing his off-lane Ember Spirit. That was just... That was dubious, yeah. That was ass, really. Let's be real here.
Dubious is saying it nice. Ass is probably more... Just off-lane Ember Spirit in particular, not even just Shotchlows, but...
No, yeah.
He's not an off-lane hero.
He did alright with it, but it was like, you're the hero not built for it.
Yeah, exactly. So JOTM on the Naga will grab Invisibility Rune to get things started off here. Still has yet to grab a skill point, and will just slither his way down towards the bottom. So Shotchlo, he'll have his work cut out for him against this tri-lane. Dazzle with Poison Touch at level 1 will go ahead and try and harass him back and keep him out of experience range. So that harass. A good trade for Batrider as he kind of baits him into the tower. But, yeah, up in the top, Nyx Assassin won't be having a very easy time either. Dread on the Silencer, Yoki on the Spectre. Spectre should have a pretty good time as well.
I think lane's kind of panning out how you'd expect them to. Nyx will just look to leech experience. Similar story for the Batrider bottom lane. He'll leech experience. Maybe we see the supports of Relax not spend so much time zoning out the Nyx, but maybe stacking neutrals for the Batrider to take later on, because he's going to need catch up at some point in this game.
Yep. Arzart's actually taking a good bit of damage here. He will be forced to skill up Spike Carapace at level 1, but now taking some damage. Dread takes that read, and we'll go ahead and...
Almost could have dived to that, but he would have needed a couple more Glaives hits. At least 2, maybe even a 3rd, so probably a bad idea to chase it.
Shotchlo in trouble down bottom. They'll dive this tower, and this should be an easy kill. He's only level 1, no Firefly, and there's the first blood. Coming out on Illidan, no less. Will actually almost die to the tower, but will survive, and now that Wraith King is off to the races with a nice 400 gold bounty to get things going.
Yeah, the first blood helps here. He's a bit low on regen, but Dazzle, well, no Shadow Wave just yet, so maybe level 3 we pick that one up, but... Yeah, good start for VP, picking up the first blood. Sashglow, still level 1, and he's not going to be able to find any easy way to get up to level 2.
Fortunate for Shotchlo. He did go Sticky Napalm level 1, like I said, and if he had the Firefly, might have made that a little bit easier. It still probably would have been hard-pressed to survive, but at least could have tried to do some fancy footwork and move into the river here or off the side of the map.
Well, with where he died, with Firefly, he lives. He flies over the trees, either to the left or to the right, and can quite easily juke them. So, the Napalm was just for the trading hits with the Dazzle, which is okay. But you've got to get that level 2, and the fact he couldn't, he's going to be regretting getting Napalm, I think.
Yep, and now he could be in trouble once again. No, perhaps not. Dazzle just harassing a bit. He did grab the 2-minute rune, which of course was the double damage we still see active. So at least scouting out the runes for his mid-hero, and they're going to rotate down. They might make a Shotchlo sandwich here. Wraith King, unfortunately, not in a position to come from the high ground, but they will continue to zone him out. And
Sashglow does not want to really fight this. He has not got Firefly to escape.
Yeah, this is a risky proposition, especially if the Wraith Knight comes up, but recognizing that Illidan is still so low on HP, I guess feeling perhaps a bit more safe. Now he'll poke forward, and Illidan, he's on the aggressive. That's a Wraithfire Bolt, and I'm not sure why Shotzlo decided to press forward like that.
This is a kill.
Yeah, that's an easy kill. He still won't hit level 2 either.
I think he's trying to, like, confuse VP, because, like, normally you wouldn't be able to get that kill for his Firefly, but VP, they know he's still level 1. They're like, okay, you've got no Firefly, this is just a straight-up kill. And he's just trying to, like, mindfuck them and just think, okay, I'll come up, pretend I have Firefly to escape, but VP aren't falling for that.
I mean, that would work if he was not spamming the sticky napalm, and, like, keeping it kind of an illusion, but it's pretty obvious when you're level 1 and using napalm that you've got no Firefly, so...
He did get an XP range now, so he hits level 2. Like, he had to die to get an XP range.
Yeah, I mean, he's level 2 now, but it's one of those things that kind of the damage has been done already. Illidan's already picked up 2 kills, one of those the first blood, and he's still off to the races, 300 gold up on the next leading farmers on the side of Relax. Things going, but Shadowfiend actually struggling a bit in the mid lane here. Tame My Wild 26-5 versus the 14-2 Shadowfiend. So, God just getting out-farmed here by the Storm.
Yep. We see Sashko finds another rune though. He's been on top of these at bottom runes. At bottom river gets the DD. Now he gets an Invis, which will help him a bit more as far as actually getting an experience range, and not going to be any opportunity for a kill on Illidan. Fairly low HP. He gets salved up by Yanaga, so I think we look towards a Midas rush from Illidan here. He's saving all this gold, and I think this is going to be for your Midas.
Yeah. Now, this is an interesting build that he's going for. Much different than the one that you were talking about. He's level 5 with 3 points in Wraithfire Blast, a casual point in Vampiric Aura, and actually a point in stats instead of going for that crit or a second point in the Aura, which is... I would not have expected a stat point before level 6 out of the Wraith King.
Yeah. It gives you a slightly bigger mana pool so you can use more stuns, but he's pretty much always on full mana. Like, he'll use a stun here and there, but he's never had any issues with the magic stick. He gets free mana from the napalm, so a bit surprising. The Vampiric Aura point was probably just so he could heal up after tanking the tower so much, but looking for another kill here. Sashglow.
Play down for another 3 seconds. There's the Poison Touch. The Wraithfire Blast.
Yikes.
Another easy kill. Yikes indeed.
That's his Midas now. Illidan has it, and not going to have to take a lot of tower hits here, but
that's a fast Midas. 5.5 minutes. That's scary.
Yeah, he's farming absolutely fantastic here, so we'll see Spectre pick up... he's going Midas as well. I was about to say, Spectre's been a ton of gold, and he's going Midas, which I do not like at all on Spectre. This is not a good item to get on your Spectre.
Spectre is one of these carry heroes that really needs to tank up early on, and if he wants to get Radiance or whatever it is, he needs some of those core items, even if it's just the phase boots into drums to have a presence, and he can make up for not going that farming tool because of Haunt. He can just sit back and farm, and then use Haunt to hop into fights, either get last hits on heroes, and also just get that assist gold. So that gives him kind of that flexibility just to go straight into items and still be able to farm well. And the Midas, although it will let him farm, if he haunts into fights, he will be an easy target for VirtusPro.
And until he gets the phase boot, you can't actually horn into fights. Sure, he's not level 6 yet, but generally speaking, you want to get those phase boots as fast as possible to help you last hit. They help you zone out the hero from your lane, and they allow you to actually go for kills once you hit level 6. But he'll get those phase boots soon enough. He gets his Midas up. He'll start popping it now. But those phase boots will just be slowed down a little.
Yeah. So Arzard, he's still struggling a little bit in this off lane. He's only halfway through level 4, so won't have Vendetta too quickly here. He's still doing better than the Bat Rider. At least he is yet to die, despite not getting a lot of experience. He hasn't conceded any deaths, so really in this game, the big disparity is, of course, the off-laners, and this mid lane still rather disparate as well. About 42 last hits on the Storm, and Shadowfiend, he's for 36 now. He'll move into the jungle. A huge stack, yes indeed.
Quad stack, it looks like.
So that will be a nice bit of recovery here for the Shadowfiend on that hard camp, no less. So great use of the supports from VirtusPro, and, well, they'll give Shadowfiend the boost he needs to get right back in this game, and now all of a sudden, he's actually ahead of Storm Spirit on net worth.
Yeah, that was a lot of farm right there waiting for him, so nicely played. Good strategy coming out from VP. He's about on par now, but his last hit's taken over the Storm here, and Storm, he's hit level 8 here, but we haven't seen Tame My Wild actually find any kills yet using his ulti. Normally by this point, your Storm, you're getting runes, you've got your treads, you've got your magic wand. You want to be roaming on the map finding kills, but he's just not seeing anything present itself. Bottom lane, the Wraith King's got reincarnation, so even rotating bottom to stop this tower going down is something quite tricky to do.
Starting to kick in a little bit, as he will start using that cooldown. Yoki is all solo right now, so Arzard will be able to grab some experience and actually put some pressure onto the Spectre as his supports have kind of left the lane, moving down bottom, hoping to try and protect their bottom tier 1. Shotchlo, he's almost level 5, just so poor. Only 750 gold right now, and he's still yet to pick up his boots. So he's looking at like maybe a 15-minute blink. If his supports stack up for him in the jungle, maybe things will go well, but he's already got a set of mud golems here, so not looking too good. Mid lane, yeah, Dazzle's in some trouble. He'll grab the grave on himself. Now God, he gets Vortex, but oh wow, Tame My Wild stands his ground, and he grabs that kill. Vector comes in, and Dazzle will actually fall, and also a kill.
Yeah, Wraith King used his ulti to get a kill in the silence, so I think Dread thought he could maybe get the kill using the Curse of the Silence to get rid of Illidan's mana, but he came out worse for wear from that exchange.
Tapping about the map, VirtusPro get 1 kill down bottom, and they lose 2 in the mid, both Dazzle as well as the Shadow Fiend fell. Great plays by Tame My Wild, though. Knowing his limits, barely survives, but walks away with 1 more kill under his belt. Yeah,
and forcing out the Grave on the Dazzle, and then immediately switches target to the SF, knowing that SF cannot be Grave. That was some clever awareness from him in the fight.
Yeah, and up top, AA will be in some trouble. They will go ahead and burn and dust, even though he does try and Vendetta away. And just an easy kill. Tame My Wild picking up some momentum here, almost level 10, and will be working towards an Orchid first with that first row of the Magi sitting in the inventory. It's a great read to head up top, grab some dust, and just adds another one to the scoreboard.
Yeah, this is... He waited a bit longer than you'd normally see Storms waiting, but that almost catches VP by surprise, because they're playing very cautious for a good couple minutes, and Storm's like, okay, I'll just keep on farming, and I'll wait till I'm actually ready to start rotating, and Tame My Wild gets a quick couple of kills, and he's well on the board. So for VP, maybe we've got to see Illidan get more involved, pick up the TP scroll, come in some of these fights, because he's scary right now, but he hasn't actually left this bottom lane yet.
Yeah, and I have a feeling he may want to grab an armlet here. It's an item that I think works particularly well on Wraith King, because the damage it does to you is kind of counteracted by your vampiric aura.
Yeah.
So just an all-round strong item on this hero, and he will stand his ground to finish off that bottom tower. Visage comes in for the deny, but is just slightly off the mark, and now Illidan just furthering that farm.
Storm could have TP'd maybe a couple seconds earlier, and maybe actually gone in for that kill, because Wraith King didn't have ulti there, so Tame My Wild just playing a bit too greedy in this mid lane, not wanting to TP. He wanted to just get that last little bit of farm, and by the time he does TP, Wraith King's already gone, and he even ends up just deciding to cancel it.
Yeah, there is a haste rune here in the bottle of Tame My Wild, so he still has some options. Perhaps he can start moving around, but wow, Shadow Fiend going Blink first. The God gonna follow in the footsteps of S4, same build we saw in their first game today. And I say wow just because, generally speaking, at least over the past few months, it's a build that we see very rarely on Shadow Fiends. That BKB rush seems to be much more common.
Yeah, the Blink was making a resurgence apparently. I think it's not bad. It does give you just such great mobility here. I like the Midas as well. I think the Midas play that like we see our TZ do is also really, really effective. If you go Midas, you can't really go back for Blink, because by the time you have a BKB, it's too late.
Yeah.
But if you go straight for the Blink, you can get it first.
Look from Relax, moving into the Radiant jungle. Another big stack here that God is taking out. He'll be able to clean it up before they get inbound. Oh, and they'll scout the wrong way. They're thinking he may be down on the left side of the tree line, and now they come over, and uh-oh, God's in some trouble. He'll walk right into it. So, well, they miss scout right away, but at first, but then they come in and, well, they find a kill on that high-value target known as the Shadow Friend.
And VP, that smoked the wrong way. They're actually going to find the Spectre here. Yoki going to get hit by an Impale. They need the Wraith King in here. He's got a Blink Dagger. Blink Dagger Wraith King finds Yoki. This will be a kill here. He's got no mana for the ulti, and Yoki, one more right click. There we go. Dazzle gets the last hit. Meanwhile, T1 mid tower does go down, so not a good position for Spectre. He actually went back for a Vanguard too. That's why it took so long to kill him, but it's by getting a T1 mid tower.
Yeah, so nice ganks coming out on both sides of the coin. VirtusPro still holding on to a gold lead. The total tower count is 1-1. So about 1,500 gold, 500 experience. Not too bad. VirtusPro still in good shape, but double blink on the Shadow Fiend as well as the Wraith King. Very interesting. I would not have guessed a Blink Dagger first on the Wraith King following that Hand of Midas, but
the big thing that kind of limits his damage output is always his mobility. That's where items like Force Stuff and Blink Dagger can be really useful to get in nice and close, and heroes that would normally just kite you around. So being kited around one of his bigger issues, and getting a Blink Dagger, not bad. So it's actually quite easy to justify.
That's a really good point. That change has made Blink Dagger viable on so many heroes that before that change you would think there's absolutely no way, and Wraith King's one of them. His mana pool is so limited, especially in the early stage. 75 mana per blink. You start to question if that's a good use of mana, but now you can just blink all over the place. So with that said, I understand the thought process at the very least, and with that VirtusPro, we'll finish off the top tier 1 tower. Relax, gearing up for a push down bottom, but VP will be in a great position to make a hold, and they will do just that.
They put a Song of the Siren if they want to get Nugget in there first to try and keep everyone in place, and Relax are really going in for this one. I think they've caught wind of the fact that there is a TP defense coming in, and oh no, they're still committing.
Does have a lasso available, but no Blink Dagger, and Wraith King will hop forward. Flame Brain comes out, but they want Tame My Wild, and they may have enough to finish him off. No, he will be able to scoot back despite the net coming out. But Shotchlo, he gets caught by a stun from the Wraith King, and that will be a kill on the Bat Rider. Now Yoki in some trouble as well. The weave really being effective here, and Spectre will end up being another easy kill for VirtusPro. God, grabbing an easy double there.
Yeah, that's another power of the Blink Dagger. They actually can initiate and try and kill the Storm there. The Storm only got kept alive by the global silence of the Silencer. So that got used. It kept the Storm alive on like 20 HP, but then you blow in the global silence, and Storm can't even re-engage because he's got no HP. So VP just have a big numbers, well, not so much numbers advantage, but they've just got this item and farm advantage that's getting them into positions where they can take these easy fights.
Yeah, and God does have an invisibility rune on. He'll come around the backside. He plays forward. Tame My Wild. He just can't hit.
Blink Wraith King stun, Blink right clicks from G on SF, and tower after tower taking a fall here. VP just playing some good Dota.
Yeah, there's a tier 2 tower, and all of a sudden they were ahead, but now they're really ahead. About a 5,000 gold lead, 4,000 experience lead. Wraith King's now level 11, so his ultimate will take a big change. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
He picks up a Maelstrom.
Oh, Maelstrom, yeah. Another interesting item that wouldn't have been my guess as his second choice.
No, it scales well when you get the Mjolnir. Like a lot of attack speed, damage output as well. It's just the Mjolnir buff is pretty annoying to try and fight and deal with. Any damage you take, it can proc on. That's the thing. Like and it procs fairly frequently. I'm not sure the exact. Yeah, it procs very frequently.
Yeah.
So I like this build.
Yeah. Mjolnir is really a viable item right now. It's one we've been seeing a kind of an increase in frequency, and it's not the item that I'm surprised at, is more just the trajectory. Both of these items, I see why they're good on Wraith King. It's more of just the order. Like the Blink into Mjolnir just seems like kind of a very, it's sort of a risky build almost, but they're just so aggressive here. He can play with it. Yeah, he blinks forward. Triv in trouble. They'll grab a kill on Visage to start this fight off.
Oh, missed the Impale on Tame My Wild. If that hits, it would have been a kill as well. Just off the mark. I thought it even almost landed there. But now they're going to try and farm some familiars then. Yep, they get one. And now they get a T2 tower. They just can't fight VP right now. The way Wraith King's been playing, I mean, I mentioned the comparison to StarLadder. With the Blink Dagger, he's playing this just like a StarLadder, except it's a StarLadder with 2 lives. That's what the reincarnation does for you. And a StarLadder with 2 lives and just slightly more damage output too.
Yeah, it's sort of trading an AoE stun for a single target stun, but the trade-off is you get 2 lives instead. So.
And generally with StarLadder, when you're initiating with a Blink Crash, you're only going on 1 hero, generally speaking. Sometimes you maybe luck out and get 2 or 3, but...
And we've seen here, Arzart did pick up a Blink Dagger on the Nyx Assassin, so there are now 4 Blink Daggers in this game, 3 of them on the side of VirtusPro. Shotchlo finally able to grab his, so at least Bat Rider now has some initiation power, but VP, they can just hop on somebody from Relax, and they have enough stuns across those 3 heroes that they're hard-pressed to survive just between the Nyx and the Wraith King alone. If Shadow Fiend is there, just spamming those auto attacks.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody on Relax is fair game. Even that Spectre who did go Vanguard first is still very susceptible to that burst damage.
And they're all kept nice and healthy through the Dazzle. They've just got great durability. They've got triple Arcane Boots online as well, so mana's not an issue for a Wraith King. That's another thing which he often has problems with, is the mana pool, but not the case here at all.
Under heavy pressure, it'll fall. Uncontested double damage rune up on the Shadow Fiend as well. They'll trade that tier 2 for a tier 1 down bottom, and that will be the end of the outer towers for Relax, taking the total tower count now 6-2, way in the favor of VirtusPro. And we see more big items coming out. Shadow Fiend in particular. He's now got himself a BKB to go with that Blink Dagger, and they will rotate mid. They'll catch Yoki, and well, Global Silence flies. That will be enough for Spectre to get off the haunt.
Nyx has got him though, I think. He needs to just hit this Impale. He's waiting to make sure he can land it. Blink, Vendetta hit, Impel to follow. Yoki gonna go down.
Arzar doing it in style right there, making sure he gets the Vendetta down.
Yeah, making sure he doesn't get juked as well. Like dodging the Impale if you're not like in close range is quite possible there. So he gets nice and close, make sure he knows which direction Spectre's running in. Hits an Impale.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Just farm that, which is a small consolation price for Relax, but realistically they are very far behind.
The problem now is, I said this might not be a game where BKB needs to come out first, but maybe it is. I mean, Tame My Wild, we've seen once he gets initiated on, they've got enough follow-up damage that he just can't survive the duration of the stun. But I have a mechanics question here for you, God.
Yeah, the worst kind of question.
If Nyx Assassin uses Spike Carapace and then attacks Spectre, does the return damage from the dispersion proc the Carapace and get a stun?
I would say... I'm not 100%.
I was thinking
it's like a 95% no.
Okay, that's sort of what I was thinking as well. But just curious, I had that thought there, and we saw them going blow for blow, and he didn't use the Spike Carapace, which makes me relieved. If that was possible, he probably would have done.
Yeah, I've never seen that. Like, maybe I've seen it without realizing what I'm seeing, but yeah, I can't think of it that the Carapace being used that way.
Yeah. Sometimes the mind wanders a little here.
No, that's a good question. I'm pretty sure the answer. I just don't want to commit to something which I'll get called out on by Reddit/Twitch chat. Please have mercy on me, guys.
Yeah, good luck with that, guys. The God's poor feeling. Here, about a 10,000 gold lead, so VirtusPro just kind of continuing their streak of dominance. There's the Mjolnir up for Wraith King, so now he's hitting fast, and he'll have that static charge buff on top of him to make things even more difficult for Relax. And other than that, we don't really see too many other big item pickups. Relax in particular, just
they're still
struggling.
trying to get this Radiance on Spectre, but the problem is, even when they get it, Spectre still can't really fight. 1100 HP against this Wraith King, the minus armor as well. All this minus armor is going to make this Spectre so squishy. He's going to need Radiance plus one big item, and well, VP are already on your high ground, and you haven't even got the Radiance.
By RX to start things off. Shotshell gets off a lasso, but to just no avail. He gets destroyed. Dazzle does die to the silencer, and JOTM actually is the one who gets the grave. Visage will get picked off by the Shadow Fiend, and now Tame My Wild will be the target of choice. There is no stun available for the Wraith King. God actually with the BKB on, taking a lot of damage here. That'll proc the Aegis.
Oh, he lost his mana. He's going to die here.
Oh, no.
The curse of the silence from Dread.
Wow. So actually a good hold from Relax right there. It ends up being 2 for 2, and they also proc the Aegis, so really a 2 for 3. But now they'll reinitiate, and Kale comes in. Yoki in big trouble. There's the Requiem, and Spectre will fall. Unstoppable streaks for God. Right, in comes Tame My Wild. He'll drop the rotation, and the hammer will fall on top of the Shadow Fiend. The Naga Siren as well. Relax, clean it up.
Yeah, Tame My Wild's gone big here with the Storm Spirit plays, and they lose Spectre, but they get a couple big kills on your Storm Spirit. You can now start looking towards a BKB, so that's good news. As far as much as good news they get. Dread, what are you doing getting a Midas at 21 minutes in when you're like defending the high ground?
Sir, before Magic Wand even. This is...
I don't know if you want a recovery Midas when you're like struggling to hold the high ground. Like your tier 3s are being pounded away on. Sure, they held. That's probably what he's thinking. Like, we just held against Aegis. Like, we've got ourselves a good 10 minutes before the next Roshan. They probably won't try push. Maybe they won't try push high ground again before the next Aegis. So maybe he thinks he can get a bit of use out of this. But even if he uses it, it's still not paying for itself.
Yeah,
he could have a 4-staff or something, which is where I'm a bit confused. Even a mech? Have they got? Yeah, they haven't got a mech either. So I don't know.
Interesting. Kill a Mud Golem here, and we'll see how it works out. Relax, at least picking up some momentum there, and they keep their base safe, which is important. But VP, they won't get discouraged. They will press forward, and here we go. Blink daggers onto Yoki. That's the damage.
Yeah, they can get this initiation from Fog off every time, especially there's just no way he can farm safely. He can't show himself on the map, and he's going to be regretting this one. He's probably thinking, I shouldn't have gone Midas, and Dread's gone Midas. He who has the most Midases seems to be losing games nowadays.
Yeah, it's funny how the tides have turned on that front. There is a buyback available for the Spectre, but really doesn't want to use it. He dies with his Midas off cooldown as well, which is very unfortunate. 3,200 gold at that bittersweet mark where he's very close to the relic, but he may be forced to buy back here. 20 seconds, perhaps not. Initiation on the shot slow, but the follow-up isn't there. Just a Wraith Fire.
Put it on the background So Storm actually got stunned immediately. I think he zipped in, got instantly stunned here, and they're going to get Triv as well. The Visage in a lot of trouble here. The Familiar Sun's not enough to give him a life. Illidan still actually out of mana now. He needs some Arcane Boot spam to get him back up to mana, because he's just been drained out by the Curse of the Silence.
Yeah, just a disaster here for RX. There will be a buyback from the Visage to try and make this hold, but Storm will be down for 35 seconds. He's got a buyback as well, and he may be forced to burn it. Cliff has already been used. VirtusPro grabbed the top tier 3 tower, and there's the buyback from Storm Spirit. How do they want to initiate this, though? He'll hop straight in, or get onto JOTM. Wraith King taking some damage as well. Batrider the first to fall. Storm goes down shortly after. Down goes Wraith King, and again, his ultimate won't proc.
He lost mana. He just got arcaned up, but the follow-up Curse of the Silence took out his mana, and he's... He Curse of the Silence even being leveled on Silencer, but he's gone for it here. Song.
And actually off the mark from JOTM, rather unfortunate there.
So looking for his Song into a Requiem of Souls, and G going to TP out as soon as that Song doesn't find anyone. So it's another hold by Relax, but it's still like barely a hold. If that Wraith King, he was, I think, on like 120 mana when he died, because I clicked him like right when the curse was cast, and he was on like 180, and it burned his mana so fast before he died. And if he gets that reincarnation off, everyone gets slowed, he comes back with full HP, full mana, it's dead Raxus. So that was like Relax holding by the skin of their teeth.
That was a big play from Dread, and you're right, it's rare to even see a point in Curse of the Silent. Here at level 11, we see 4 points in it, and for good reason. Really a smart choice to try and deal with that Wraith King. We've seen more than once now that Curse of the Silent just be the difference between a hold and what would be certain doom.
Yeah, so their noses in the door and just keep on poking and prodding, hope that a bigger opening presents itself, but it's coming at the cost of like buyback. Storm had to buyback in that fight. It's just...
And Batrider and Visage. There were 3 buybacks used there to make that hold. So even though it was a decent hold from Relax, VirtusPro still getting a big boost on the gold ground.
Yeah, VirtusPro will look at that and think, well, sure you guys held, but realistically, what did it actually cost you guys? And well, they'll wait for the next Roshan if they want to. I don't even know if they need to. They're just so much stronger. We've seen how easily they can pick off this Spectre whenever he's farming alone, and Spectre gave up on the Radiance. He went back, picked up a Diffusal Blade. Is a bit more mana burn, which I guess what they... I mean, you mentioned at the start, Diffusal against the Wraith King. Combine it with a Curse of the Silencer, maybe we can see Wraith King just unable to get his ultimate off.
Yeah, and just unfortunate for Spectre in general. He got the Midas, but this is a game where VirtusPro has been pretty aggressive. They've been putting the pressure on since they got their trio of Blink Daggers up, and they just haven't given Spectre any room to farm and really capitalize on that Midas. Exactly what you should do. And now a Blade Mail is up on the Wraith King, so he'll be a little bit more tanky, and of course putting out that return damage up top. Shot Flow initiates onto God, but the counter initiation will be there. The Spike Carapace and the net, that'll be a kill. Visage also falling as well. Now the Rax in big trouble. Range has already gone down, and they'll start focusing melee Rax. Yoki, he haunts in, but now he's out of mana. He takes a Poison Touch, and he will be in big trouble. See you later. That's a 3-0 to get things started. Rax will fall, and Tame My Wild, he'll get dropped as well as the Blink Daggers are shown off in full force. Relax just not handling this one as well as they did in the last 3 pushes.
Yeah, this one they got jumped on just too horribly, and they're going to lose not just top Rax, it looks like they're going to lose mid lane as well, with 4 heroes dead. Second set of Rax taking a fall. This should be pretty much the nail in the coffin, as VirtusPro look like they should be able to take this best of 1 series against Relax.
Get the tower. Range Rax and melee will go down shortly after. Just a stray Centaur Conqueror here hanging about. Compliments of that Shadow Fiend with the Helm of the Dominator. So good to see they've got another stun at their disposal here. And yeah, they'll just continue on. They'll press for the bottom lane of Rax, and Spectre's still dead. Why?
I think Relax, they know they're out of this one. They'll just go for one last hurrah, one last big fight in typical Relax fashion. These guys will just go out with a bang here. They're going to lose
the bitter end.
Yeah. Oh, there's the Jip. You're jumping here. They tried to go an ass up, but the Carapace has been popped immediately back when it goes down. And, well, Illidan is just too damn tanky. GG is called by Sashflow. Another stun coming out. Spectre probably going to go down again before the game is over, and yes, that he does.
Oh, and Tame My Wild almost getting a kill on NX at the end, but they burned the set to keep him alive. Game only 26 minutes of gameplay, but VirtusPro execute.